What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today I want to do another tier list video. It's been a few months since I created one. That first one where I ranked every single play from the flexbone slot formation in NCAA Football 06. The handful who watched it really liked it and got something from it, and I think it would be a good idea to continue with this series. I have some bigger plans in mind with some of the content I'm going to cover here, which I'm really excited about. So I thought it'd be a good idea to do another one. And today I want to rank every single shotgun formation in NCAA Football 06. The shotgun formations are probably the most popular formations to use, not only in 06 and probably any football game. Just that's because the way the football gaming world is these days, is everybody's just in the shotgun, regardless of which level you watch it or play on. And what we're going to cover is all the plays, just very briefly, give you an idea of kind of what every formation has. And I'll just give you my thoughts on each formation, whether I like them or not. And as you see in front of you, the standard tier format, S, then you got A through F. S meaning these are just like the best whatever for that particular topic, and it just gets a little bit worse as you keep going. A is a great, for example, a great formation. B is pretty good, C is not so much, and it just gets worse and worse. So let's just get right into it. I have all of the formations in alphabetical order. There are a total of 12 of them. So let's get right into it. We'll start off with gun ace. And gun ace, if you notice, there are 18 plays for each formation. Here, if you look at the top row, there's some pretty decent plays here. Tight end flats, I like okay. Curl flats, usually a good concept. Halfback draw is not all that great. Just looking, speed options pretty good. Tight end delay, maybe if you want to do a little rollout. If you look at the second row, slant outs is pretty good, especially on the right hash. I've always had trouble with halfback off tackle. Stretch under's pretty good. I like halfback corner. Flanker out and ups isn't bad either. Double tight end outs is pretty good. QB draw usually works pretty good out of the gun in this game. Middle choice isn't bad either. Option choice, that's your standard QB choice. Then you got PA option choice, which is a PA read. So out of all that, if you look here, the running game is just okay. Speed option's great. Option choice is pretty good. Then it kind of goes downhill from there. There's just not a lot to work with. And when it comes to the passing plays, there's 5 or 6 that I think you can work with. And this is a 12 personnel set, which, it's one halfback and 2 tight ends. If you are wanting to run a 2 tight end heavy system of some sort, yes, I can see you using this formation, but it's not one of my favorite by any means. Having said all that, I would probably put this as a C tier. It's just okay, but there are other formations from the gun sets that I would prefer to use. Now let's move on to its sister, more or less, and that is gun ace twins. I think there's a lot more stuff here to work with than gun ace. Tight end deep, I love. Speed options, really good. Halfback off tackle, again, that's another oddball type of run play that I've always struggled with. The blocking has to be spot on. If you notice, there's a lot of slant. It looks like zone blocking in a sense. That doesn't work all that great in this game. Tunnel screen is one of my favorite screen plays in the game. Angle drag isn't bad. Tight end choice is pretty good. Gives you a little bit of a mesh look. Halfback tight end combo is a good either or hash play. Then you got option choice is pretty good. PA read is fine. It's not the best. QB sweep isn't interesting. There's not a lot of design QB runs out of the gun outside of the QB draws, and this is one of them. Not a bad play. Flanker corner's pretty good. There's your QB draw, and wide receiver deep post is really good. I like the Mills concept on the left. When you're looking at the run plays, you got a few more options. I like QB sweep, option choice, speed option, QB draw. That's not bad. It's a little bit better than what we just saw. And the pass plays, I think, are a whole lot better. I've mentioned about 6 of them that I really like. I think this is a really good formation if you want to run a couple tight ends from the gun set. It's not the best formation in the world, but I like it pretty well. Having said all that, I would probably put this as a B tier. I think it's just a little bit better than gun ace. When I want to have a couple tight ends out there doing things in their standard set on the line, I'd probably start off with gun ace twins. Now let's go to gun bunch. Gun bunch is, I've used this quite a bit for various reasons. A lot of it is, it's really good to use in the middle of the field. And if you notice the top row, Deep cross up is just maybe the best middle of the field zone beater in the game. I'm sure there are other ones out there, but I've used that a ton. Speed option is great. Flanker special, I love. I need to use it more. Halfback off tackle, it's got that zone blocking. It's just okay. Angle outs isn't bad. I wish the halfback little zig route there would be a little bit shorter. PEA QB choice, the downside of that one is your halfback doesn't go out for a pass like it does for the other PE reads in the game. All curls is okay if you really like the curl flats in this game. PA hooks is interesting. I've got them make that one work a time or two. The other big popular plays in this formation is wide receiver sweep option and the pass play off of that. I've used those a handful of times, especially if you got a wide receiver that just demands the ball most of the time. Halfback direct's really good. Clear out all's pretty good. I like where you can give it to your halfback on every single situation, man or zone. Corner combo isn't bad either if you can get somebody to pick for that crossing route going to the left. QB choice I love. I use that play quite a bit in my Mississippi State dynasty when I was running the spread option stuff. I love the backside blocking from your 3 wide receivers in that bunch set, along with the pulling guard to the left if you're going to keep it with the quarterback. One of the better QB choices in the game. Inside wheel is fine. I kind of wish the routes were a little more spread out. They're a little too bunched up for my liking, and I was never a fan of drag halfback corner. So out of all of this, I like quite a few of these plays, but it has its place. Especially the wide receiver sweep option, deep cross up. It's just a good little change up for certain situations. I would probably put this as a B tier just because it's got certain special plays that I really like. And more importantly, I think you can run the ball out of this formation a whole lot better than what people think. I'm really good putting this as a B tier. I've used it in so many different types of offenses. And I highly recommend it if you want a compressed set from the gun. Now let's go to gun 5 wide. This is an interesting formation for a few reasons. One is you can tell there's only one run play, which is obvious. This is 5 wide, so you're not going to expect much run. It's all about the passing. And if you start off with the top row, split in corners, I like that one pretty good. Slot outs, middle attack are all pretty good. You go to the middle row, deep outs I love. Deep post is good. Off either hash, by the way. Curl flats is pretty good. QB draw, again, works really well in this game if you just let the blocking take care of itself. The double wide receiver screen, it's the only one in the game that I could think of outside of maybe ace empty. But this is by far my favorite one just because you're in the shotgun. You got a little more room to make a play out of that one. Then you go to the bottom row, slot corners I really like. Floods, really good. Zig outs is probably my favorite of the bunch. Slants is good, especially if you are going up against man on the left hash and that R1, that flat route on the right, can get picked. His defender can get picked by a couple of those slants beside it. Can be a really nasty play if everything works out okay. And then comebacks is just fine. The biggest downside to this formation is that when you are playing an actual game in 06, you will never see cover 0. I think it's just a glitch in the game. I don't know why it does that, but I have never seen it. You'll see it a ton in practice. But having said all that, I really like a lot of plays in here. I mean, there are probably 10 pass plays I can make work fairly well. Because of that, I would put this as another B tier formation. I think it's great as long as you don't mind not be able to see cover 0 ever. Go for it. If you like to go 5 wide, definitely start with that formation for sure. Now let's go to gun normal. This is one of my favorites. I like it a whole lot. It's different. It's got some unique pass plays that you can't find anywhere else in any of the formations in this game. But we'll start off with the top row. Corners is okay. Speed option is amazing. Tight end delay, I've used that to death over the years. I can't tell you how many times I call that play. Arrows is unique. You got to do some motion to make it work, but I like it okay. Wide receiver stutter slants, it's fine. Halfback streak, I love. All curls is okay. Of course, we've talked about QB draw. I like halfback corner. I like the separation and the isolation that the halfback can get on that corner route when you call this on the left hash. Halfback screen is okay. I wish you'd have like a little better man beater on the left side. We've talked about halfback off tackle. It's got the goofy zone blocking that just doesn't work all that well in this game. PE read, one of my favorite PE reads in the game for sure. I love halfback angle. We're at the bottom row here. Halfback angle is amazing. I can call that play all day and then some. PA wide receiver in is just average. I wish there was a better like short side zone beater. Tight end cross has been one of my staple third and long plays for years. It would be even better if that dig was like an out route, but we can't all get what we want. Seam attack is okay. It's hard to use. You kind of have to do a little hot routing with one of the go routes to get like maybe a better man beater. The halfback out route is okay against man and works better against zone. Then you got wide receiver short post. You can do that actually off either hash and do some unique things. So the downside to this formation is the lack of running. It's just not the best in the world. Like speed option is about all you have. Yes, you could do QB draw if you're really good at it. The other two are just awful. But there's some really good pass plays. I mean, I can just sit here and just throw the ball all day from this formation alone. I've used this set so many times, I can't tell you how long how long I haven't been using it. Having said all that, even though the run plays aren't the best in the world, if you don't mind having a very simplistic run game out of it, I would put this as an A tier. I really love this formation. Another positive to this is the sub packages. You can even put a fourth wide receiver at tight end, which I think is pretty cool. You can also put a tight end in the slot. So you can really get diverse with your personnel groupings from this formation too. I love it to death. It would be great if it had maybe an extra run play, like at least QB choice. That would be better. If it did, I'd probably put it as an S tier. But for now, we'll put it as an A tier. Now let's go to gun split. Gun split is okay. We'll go through all these. Halfback lead draw, we've talked about that. It's not that great. If you got two decent running backs, you may want to use this formation for passing more or less. Let's look at RB flats. It's fine. Here's the problem I have with gun split. If you look at triple QB option, notice the offensive line blocking. They are pass blocking. I don't know why they designed the play as such, but a lot of the run plays in this formation kind of do that, which I think is really weird. Halfback streak, a great man beater, but not much else. QB sweep, I like a whole lot. Fullback seam, you can work off either hash with that one. Wide receiver in is okay, but you got to deal with the middle of the field. Hopefully nobody is sitting there to hit that man beater with that dig, but it's okay. Look at triple option weak. Look at the offensive line. Again, they're like pass blocking. It just makes the blocking just a little bit tougher for you when you're running this. And I actually done a halfway decent job with this formation in my Mississippi State dynasty. But again, the run blocking would be a little bit better if they actually ran blocked, if that makes sense. Deep threats, I mean, unless you got to use Hail Mary and you want to use a tight end in there, I guess you can use that. I love RB cross. You can use that off either hash, bounce it to either one of those halfbacks. Now, by default, the fullback is the guy on the right. You can use the sub package of the dual halfback, which is what most people would do. Power option is probably the best run play in the formation. Tight end drag is okay. I wish there was a better man beater. The tight end does not the best job of becoming a decent man beater with that drag. The crossing route by X, or technically square when you're looking at the image, is your best man beater. Other than that, it's a pretty good play. Then you go to the bottom row. Again, look at the offensive line. They're pass blocking. I do not like that. But the play works okay for QB option give. PA read is okay. There's a little too many routes that are going to the middle of the field. I wish there was a little more separated out. Maybe something going to the out. Tight end corner, not bad. You can work that off either hash. Halfback lead, it's actually a draw play when you call it. But at least they're run blocking. Deep comeback, I like it pretty well. I wish that delay route was more of like a swing or even better, a flat. But it's still a pretty good play, especially if it's third down and you really want to get a tight end going over the middle. Then you got speed option, probably the second best run play out of the formation. Having said all that, they got it looks like they got a ton of good run plays, but the blocking isn't the best in the world. My other big issue is there just aren't enough great passing plays for me. I've used it a time or two, but it's for certain offenses. Having said all that, I would probably put gun split as a C tier. It's still an okay formation. I cannot put it as a D. A D tier means it is an awful formation. Pretty much stay away from it. There's some good stuff here, but just not good enough for me to use it unless I'm doing something specific on that side of the ball. Now let's go to gun spread. This may be the most popular formation in the game. Probably in any football game you play, you go gun 2x2 spread set. I love this formation. I've used it so many times, I can't count. We'll start at the very top. Wide receiver curls. You've seen me use that a ton. It's great. Inside draw, maybe the only bad run play in the formation. PA read is great. That would be like the perfect play if they would have switched the two inside routes with the dig and that angle. If they would have flipped those, you could do so much damage on either side of either hash, I should say. An amazing play, though. Slot wheels, this is a true run and shoot type play. I would wish I could use that more in my Hawaii dynasty, but you need some great offensive linemen to make it work. But it's pretty good with the right blocking. QB choice is great. Wide receiver short post, there's not enough man beater there for me to use it. I mean, you may have to do a little hot route to make that work. Otherwise, it's not a bad play. Slot seams is one of my run and shoot concepts. I like it pretty well. Speed option, maybe the best run play out of the formation. Wide receiver under, I've tried to make that work over the years. I've been able to do so. It's got an amazing man beater. The biggest problem it has is it's not the best against zone. But one thing you can do, which I think is pretty cool, is you can roll out with that angle route, a triangle. Roll out with him, and you can throw over the top of a defender. I've done that a little bit in that Mississippi State dynasty. Double cross, pretty good. It's not a bad third and long play. The man beaters are just not the greatest in the world. The dig is pretty good, but there's always somebody maybe sitting there over the middle, possibly covering that, which leads to a double team. Other than that, it's not a bad play. Halfback goes, pretty good. Quick slants, I like all right. Corner strike, one of my run and shoot plays that it just takes a while to develop, but it can be pretty effective. Weak off tackle, it's that zone blocking that's a bit of a struggle. PA flood, it's kind of tough, but you can kind of make it work off the right hash. Deep attack, maybe the most popular pass play of the entire game, if I had to guess. Halfback direct, I know some people have mixed feelings about direct. It's not the most cheese play in the world, but it can be effective if you know what you're doing. But it's an amazing run play for sure. Then you got a halfback screen, which is an okay screen play. This is an amazing formation. You can do a little bit of everything. You can attack deep with the passing game. You can attack short. It's got a nice variety of run plays. I have no choice but to put this as an S tier. If you're going to be in the gun at any point, and if you think you're going to have at least 4 wide receivers out there, you got to use gun spread. The sub packages are pretty good too. I think you could put a cornerback in there as well. If you got one of those freak athlete corners that could play a little wide receiver, you could do that. Of course, you could put a tight end in the slot. You could put another halfback in the slot. There's just so much you could do with that formation. I can go on and on, but we got to keep going. Next up, let's go and look at gun tight. This is maybe the gun formation I use the least, and not because that it's bad. It's just because it doesn't fit a lot of the offenses that I've created over years. But we'll start at the very top. Crossers isn't bad if you can get that shallow to come underneath quick enough. You can get a good play going. You got a nice cover zero beater with the go and a crossing grab to the left. You actually got 2 crossers that work pretty well against man. It's not a bad play at all. We've talked about inside draw. It's terrible. I wish the halfback draws would work well in this game from the gun, but they just don't. P. read is really good. It's a left hash play. You can kind of use it as a right hash play as well, although I think it works a little bit better on the left. Halfback streak isn't bad. Off tackle, we've talked about that. Wide receiver corners is okay if you can get the halfback going against man. I'm not a big fan of curl bunch. We've talked about halfback direct. It's very effective. Short drags is fine. The shallow routes don't work all that great for me for whatever reason, but if you want a good mesh look, you can make that play work. Halfback divide seam, you could do some interesting things there, rollout type stuff. Of course, we got QB draw, Wide receiver clearouts is good, especially against or on the right hash. Halfback corner's fine. QB choice is great. PE wide receiver in, not bad at all. I would probably maybe motion triangle over to the left, get you a better man beater. Halfback mid attack, I love the depth. I love the route separation, just good spacing of the routes. Speed options is incredible, and halfback screen is just okay. Gun tight is pretty interesting. I like it quite a bit. I probably need to use it more. One of the good things about gun tight, I'll say this, is you can use the double tight end sub package. I like it for the goal line effects of it. I've used that before in the past. There's some decent plays here, and I could probably make some other ones work better if I just practiced it more. I would put this as a B tier. I got no ill will about putting it right there. Decent little play. I just need to practice it more. I almost thought about putting it as a C tier just because I haven't used it enough. But I think you can do some pretty cool things with it. I don't think it's just an average formation. I'd give it a go. Now let's talk about gun trips. Gun trips is maybe my second most used formation out of the gun sets in this game. We'll start at the very top. Wide receiver drag. If you motion square over to the right a little bit against zone, he can get really open underneath. Then you got great man beaters up above it. PA inside, one of my favorite play action plays in the entire game. It's incredible. Halfback screen, one of my favorite versions of that concept is in this formation. QB sprint, one of the few designed QB runs from the gun in this game. I like it really well. You can flip it too. Halfback streak, I've used that to death. One of my favorite rollouts. Wide receiver corners is fine. QB choice works really well. I love this PA read because you can work it off either hash. I just wish a couple of those routes would be a little bit better than what they are. All curls is okay. QB draw is good. Clear out is not bad. I kind of wish the halfback was on the other side, sort of like the clear out version from Gun Bunch. Angle is an amazing man-beating play. I just wish it was a little bit better against zone. You'd have to attack the middle more or less in order to get any type of yards against zone. Speed options, incredible. Slot screen, one of the few really good wide receiver screens in the game. Slot cross is pretty good. I wish there was a better zone beater instead of that delay. Deep cross post, it's another rollout. I don't like it as well as halfback streak, but it works okay. And then halfback out has been one of my favorite third and short concepts in this game. An amazing formation. I've used it so much. I like the variety of the run plays. Plenty of good passing plays. I wish you could attack deep a little bit better. That's the only downside to this formation for me. I struggle to attack deep unless I'm doing rollout type stuff. I can't just sit back in the pocket and attack deep unless I'm doing maybe a go post concept of some sort. Other than that, I think it's a great formation. I would definitely put this as an A tier. Now let's go to gun trips over. I love me some gun trips over. We'll start at the very top. Angle is no different than the gun trips version. This is an 11 personnel set, so you got a tight end on the left, isolated. Angle, it's just a great man beater, but that's it. QB draw, it is what it is. Clear out is okay. Halfback shriek, I love it. It's really no different than one from trips. I love inside out. Inside out, that shallow route can get so wide open at times. If the blocks are right or if his defender gets picked just enough, ooh boy, you can really gain some yards from it. I love slot screen. Wide receiver corners is just okay. PA inside is incredible. I really love flood. Flood is a great isolation play, especially with your tight end. You can motion him out to the left, really get him isolated against man. He can do some serious damage against his defender. QB choice is great because you got a tight end blocking for you. Technically, he isn't blocking, but he will take his defender if they're playing man up the field. But just having that backside guy just to get in front of somebody makes all the difference in the world. PA read, I love this play. You can work it off either hash. It only has like one average route. The rest of them are very useful. Trips attack. Again, another play that you can work off either hash. I love it to death. Halfback direct, incredible. Slot cross is pretty good. Halfback out, really no different than the one from gun trips. You can isolate your tight end more if you need to. Speed option is great. And now imagine you got that tight end blocking for you right there. which can make it even better. And the halfback screen is one of my favorites as well. I love gun trips over. I like it more than gun trips. It's got just a little bit of extra. I like it, it's got a little extra in the run game. It's got a couple different things in the passing game. I love it to death. This is my number 2 probably favorite formation from the gun sets. I will definitely put this as an S tier. You can do so many cool things with this formation. If I was want to run a modern gun pro spread-ish type of offense, I would start with that formation. You can run an entire offense out of that set alone. Incredible stuff. Now let's go to gun 2-back slot. I love this formation as well. I think it's great. PA read at the very top. You can work off either hash. I like it really well. If you notice here, double running back option left, it's no different than the gun split formation. A lot of these run plays are pass blocking, but with that particular play, you can flip it. You can go to one side or the other, and you got a pulling guard to go with you, so you have a lot of variety in that play. Halfback screen is interesting. I wish there was a better man beater. Slants isn't bad. If you got 2 decent halfbacks you want to throw to, that's a good play to work with. QB draw is great. Wide receiver middle, you can work off either hash. RB crosses is amazing. One of my favorite plays in that formation. Speed option is great. Halfback angle, it's a man beater. It's a good audible. Halfback circle, one of my favorite third and long plays. You don't have to do it on third and long. You can do it on any down you want to. But being able to hit that comeback or the little circle route or the banana route, whatever you want to call it, with the halfback is great. You can roll out to that flag, the triangle, or you can hit that backside post against zone. A lot of fun stuff with that play for sure. Double option, another triple option play, but again, I kind of wish they would be run blocking instead of pass blocking. Slot corner is really good. I like the separation or the spacing of all the routes. PA corner, unfortunately, you get sacked about every time you call it. But if by some miracle you do not get sacked, you can really get some good yards out of it. Wide receiver unders, it's not a very good play. Just none of the routes work all that great together. RB deep is incredible. The curl flat with an out route on the left side, I love it. You can have a fullback, which is your default guy on the right side in the backfield. Have him going deep. A whole lot of fun there. Halfback direct, I really like that version because you can really do some cross block action with it. Halfback strike, I don't use a whole lot. They're just not a good enough man beater. I may have to use a hot route for that one. I love this formation though. It probably has the most wide array of concepts packed into one formation. You could do a lot of option stuff, or you could do basic run halfback run stuff. The passing game is a little bit all over the place. You can attack deep, short, in any which way in between. I love this formation. It's not the best formation. There's a couple things you could do to make it better, but I would definitely put this as an A tier. If you plan on doing any type of 2 halfback type stuff where you can sub package your 2 best halfbacks in there, you can also put your tight end in the slot, which is pretty cool as well. You can do so much really cool things with this formation. I love it. If you're going to especially run any type of option with the 2 halfbacks from the gun, I would start with that formation. And last but not least, gun wide trips. Gun wide trips is, I've had a love-hate relationship with this formation. The more I use it, the more I like it, but it really depends on the offense I'm running if I'm going to use this or not. We'll start at the very top with the corners. It's just okay. The man beaters aren't the best. You got your corner route with square. It's about your best man beater, but if they're going cover 2, you're kind of in a bad situation. I wish the drag route from the tight end was a better man beater, but it's not. Halfback or inside draw, we've talked about that. PA wide receiver in is not bad as long as there's nobody over the middle to attack and cover the dig route if it's man. Halfback out, maybe my favorite pass play in the formation. I just love the aggressiveness of it, especially on the right hash. You can also run this on the left, but it's kind of risky against zone. Flanker screen is really good. It would be a little bit better if that post was probably a go. Wide receiver under is not bad. You just got to wait on that delay route to kind of do its thing as a zone beater. Linebacker attack was probably my go-to play in this formation when I was running this formation like a couple of my Duke dynasties way back in the day. I didn't know any better. It's an okay play. I wish I had a better man beater. If you're good with curls, it's a good man beater, but you got to time it just right. QB choice is great. PE read is an interesting play. It's not my favorite of the PE reads. You can technically work this off either hash, but your tight end better be fast if so. Other than that, it's not a bad play at all. Tight end post is just okay. Speed option is great. Halfback corner, maybe the best third and long play in the entire game. The comeback route is a great man beater. The go post combo against zone, I love it. And even against cover 3, that halfback on that corner route can do some damage for you. Cross post is just okay. QB draw is pretty good. Flanker cross, this is like my go-to, hey, I'm going to run a modern pro offense, and this is like my base pass play. I like flanker cross because you can work it off either hash. All 5 routes work pretty well. Pretty good little play. In and ups, if those 2 in and up routes were just simple goes, this play would be really good. The shallow route underneath is what makes that play work. Man zone, he just gets great separation. Halfback direct is really good, especially since you have a tight end blocking on the right side with a slot receiver. You can really get some good blocking on the right side if you plan on running to that side. And last but not least, halfback screen. I kind of like this one out of most of the halfback screens. The post is actually a decent man beater. Other than that, you can just go to the halfback and do damage there. I like wide trips quite a bit. I probably need to use it more. It just depends on the offense. If I'm going to be in the gun and I'm going to throw, but I really want to use a tight end, that type of thing, I would probably put this in my formation. You can also do other things with it. You can run the ball, speed option, QB choice. There's enough diversity in the running game to make it work. And the pass plays are actually a little more aggressive than some other formations. You notice there's a lot of vertical stuff. If I was going to run, like the Josh Heupel, veer and shoot type offense, I would probably start here. It's a really good formation. I like it a whole lot. I wish it could be a little bit better on a couple of the plays. Because if you notice, I mentioned how, hey, this is a good play, but the man beater is a little risky. That's about the only downside I have with the formation. Having said all that, I would probably put this as a B tier. So let's sum this up. And my 2 favorite are gun spread and gun trips over. I think those are just incredible. If you just went back and forth between those 2, you would never run out of things to do. Gun normal, gun trips, and gun 2-back slot are all really good formations. I like them a whole lot. I believe they deserve to be in the A tier. B tier, there's quite a few of them. Ace twins, bunch, 5-wide, tight, and wide trips. All really solid formations. And then the 2 worst, in my opinion, are gun ace and gun split. They're okay. They're not the best in the world. They're not terrible. If they were terrible, I'd put them at a D or an F. So as you can see here, all of the gun formations are doable, if not really good. That's a good sign. If I can make it work, I know you can too. Well, I hope you enjoyed all this. I hope you got something out of it. I look forward to making more of these. If you have any good ideas for more tier lists, just put something in the comments, and I'll see what I can do about it. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.